This is the office of Jeremy Merrill, who works with the Lubinus law firm, whose senior partner I talked to months ago because I couldn't get Mr. Merrill. He won't take my calls. But Mr. Lubinus told me that the suppression of exculpatory evidence is not allowed in our system, and this is what Mr. Merrill is attempting to do. I'm using a friend's telephone because my telephone is blocked and my emails are sent back by Mailer Demon. Because, according to Mailer Demon, Mr. Merrill doesn't have an email address, nor does the Lubinus law firm. So this is like fake news. And here we go. Wait just a moment. I wanted to. I'm busy. Yes, is Mr. Merrill in?
Jeremy is currently out of the office.
Oh, well, the thing is, this is Jeff Soberoff.
Okay.
And in just about a month, Mr. Merrill is going to try to help Iowa railroad me again. Mr. Merrill refuses to get any evidence for this case. He refuses to proceed on a court order which was issued 2 years ago where I'm supposed to receive everything that the 7th Judicial Court has on me and the Clinton County Police have for a period of 4 years, from 2004 to 2008 inclusive. I'm supposed to get all of that because the court has suppressed exculpatory evidence. Now, I was able to talk to Mr. Lubinus. Mr. Lubinus informed me on a recorded line that the suppression of exculpatory evidence isn't allowed. Now, I have sent the Ethics Committee 4 complaint forms against Mr. Merrill. Mr. Merrill apparently has a deal with these people. They don't even want to recognize that they're getting these complaint forms. So today, I'm going to spend the $10 that it's necessary to make them sign for the letter. And you know, this shouldn't be going on. Now, if Mr. Lubinus doesn't want to talk to his client, that means, and that has happened since day one. I called, as soon as I found out he had been appointed to my case, I called your offices. I asked to speak to Mr. Merrill. I was told he was on paternity leave and would be back in a month. Or no, I was told he'd be back in a week. Well, I called back in a week. Then I was told he would be back in a month. I made a subsequent call, and he was ducking my calls because my call can't go through. You blocked my calls. And I get notification from Mailer Demon that your law firm doesn't have an email address. How do you work that kind of thing? That's interesting.
I'm not sure what...
Is Mr. Lubinus there?
Just a second, let me see if he is.
Well, I would hope so. Hello, Mr. Lubinus. I have been trying to reach Jeremy Merrill for 7 months. And in just a little while, Mr. Merrill, who refuses to get any evidence or any witnesses in this post-conviction case, and refuses to talk to me is going to help the state of Iowa railroad me once again. I talked to you 7 months ago, and you confirmed that the suppression of exculpatory evidence is not allowed. Mr. Lubinus is engaged in that very practice right now. He is engaged in muzzling his client. He has not contacted one witness that he needs to contact because he does not know who they are. I have had 6 attorneys that have been appointed in this case in Clinton County. They have all acted in this way. But this is the first time when I have sent 4 complaint forms about Mr. Merrill to the Iowa Supreme Court Attorney Disciplinary Board. They refuse to admit that they got them, and I know the mail works. Now, because of what I wrote on the web, which was not illegal, by the way, what I wrote on the web was that conviction was overturned by the Iowa Supreme Court because I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't do anything at all except point the finger of shame at the Justice Department and Social Security. That's all I did. And I represented a client whose entire file I had. And that client signed a waiver, or whatever you want to call it, giving me permission to tell her story, and it is the most terrible story of abuse that you could imagine, that a person who is being supervised, whose living situation is supposed to be supervised by the government, was put through. Her Social Security file confirmed that she had apparently been obtained through human traffic. It also confirmed that the person who claimed to be her mother signed a federal document which was false. Her information was false. The government knew that. That is all in her Social Security file. Yet the government didn't prosecute this person. There is a reason for that, which is on my website. And the police didn't like it, and the feds didn't like it, and I've had an inordinate amount of crap because of it. But the crap that I'm getting now was totally generated by a racist community who, like, I'm a Hebrew. I got this olive skin Mediterranean thing going on. The first piece of social intercourse that I had with anybody in the city of Calamus, when I moved there, because the police were letting drug dealers shoot at me because I was publishing their pictures online. But they didn't know who I was until the police told them. Because while I was doing that, I was also trying to fully cooperate with the police, who I didn't know at the time was dirty. So I'm paying people to surveil these drug spots and surveil people who are allowed to be on the street in full view in the public way selling narcotics. And when I turned these people in, by virtue of this video evidence, they went to the people who were on the videotape selling these drugs and told them who I was. And I started to get shot at. I'm extremely distressed that people can obtain law licenses and treat a client the way I've been treated. And I've been treated this way now by 7 attorneys in this case, a post-conviction relief. And I have an attorney, Harold DeLange, who Mr. Lubinus ought to talk to, because Harold DeLange testified before Judge Nancy Tabor that he took a post-conviction relief application from my hand and gave it directly to Michael Wolf, the prosecutor, and it disappeared hours later. That was the 4th post-conviction relief that he destroyed. And yet my attorney, they don't want to complain about the prosecutor doing something that's totally illegal. You know, in this case, where my attorney, who if he was savvy at all, would say, well, listen, we want a summary judgment and we want Mr. Soberoff exonerated because the prosecutor has destroyed 4 previous post-conviction relief forms. And now the prosecutor and my new attorney seem to have a deal with the people who run the Iowa Supreme Court Attorney Disciplinary Board so that they don't have to pay any attention to the complaint forms I send them. Well, today I'm borrowing $10 from my landlord because I just don't have the money, and I'm going to send this my latest edition of my complaint to that board, registered and certified mail. Now, I would suggest that as the senior partner, you instruct Mr. Merrill to talk to me. Do you think you can do that?
Well, Rob, I'm not comfortable talking to you.
Oh, well, look, I'm going to tell you what. I recorded our conversation, and I'm recording this one, and I'm going to play it on every social website there is. Have a nice day. This is Dmitry Ivanovich with the naked truth.